Now, Kaz, if you could, please take us through the schedule of the Baltimore Ravens.
All right. Well, I'll start off by saying this. I believe that most sports books have the Ravens favored to, I believe, not only making it to the Super Bowl, but also winning the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if that's changed over the last month or not, but they are the favorites out of the AFC. So, I mean, in the past, well, since Lamar has been in the league, I mean, they have not had a losing season. They've had multiple seasons where they've won, 13, 14 games. So it's like they're good, and they're continuously getting better. Even their season last year, I think they went 12-5. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. Um, that could have been like easily been 14-3, like easily. A couple hiccups here and there, and that's just that. They honestly could have been in the Super Bowl last year. So they added a couple pieces on defense. Obviously, Jair Alexander being the big one for me. I'm a huge fan of him. I know he's injury prone, but taking a page out of Howie Roseman's book, you get those veteran guys in there, you add to that depth, you make the rotation on defense easier and easier, and there you have it. You have a good defense. So before I get into the record, I just want to say I think not Pittsburgh. I think that Baltimore is going to have just yet again another tremendous season. It's only up from there. They're a team that I don't even want to look at the regular season. Let's just get to the playoffs. They're going to make it. They're probably going to get the first round bye. If they don't, it's going to be very, very close. So going over the schedule first, we got the Ravens at the Bills. This going to be a big one. It's going to be a slap in the face to the AFC. They're going to beat the Bills, and I think they're going to beat them very comfortably. I think it's going to be a game where Josh Allen early on is going to have to really showcase if he really is, which he probably shouldn't have been. I don't really know. It doesn't really matter. I understand the schedule, factors in, but you have the somewhat kind of sort of MVP Lamar Jackson of 2024 going against the MVP Josh Allen. Let's just not deny Lamar Jackson's stats last year. He had a career year last year. It was insane. I think he had 4 picks, over 4,000 yards, or something like that. Almost made it to the Super Bowl. It was awesome, but didn't happen. Is what it is. They're getting the win over the Bills. Moving on to week 2. So we're gonna start off 1-1. Going against the Browns. Nothing to say about that game. They're going to smack the Browns. Next up, they're going against the Lions at home. They will catch the L. I just mentioned that they did add a lot to their defense. Their defense should be really good, but the Lions, let's not forget, they have the best 1-2 punch at running back in the league. Okay? I think that offense is going to feast no matter who they play. I think in order to beat the Detroit Lions, you're going to have to at least put up 30 points on average. They're going to have a couple games where they're going to kind of have a few hiccups, but for the most part, the Lions offense is going to have limitless or unlimited firepower. And last year, let's not forget about their defense being 100% dismantled. They're going to be back. They're going to be better than what they were last year. The Lions are going to be a problem. So I got them losing to the Lions at home. Then they face the Chiefs on the road. Shout out to the Chiefs. Good team. They're going to be there when it's all said and done, but they are going to lose to the Ravens in Arrowhead. Next up, we have the Texans. Texans will lose to the Ravens. Then they play the Rams. The Rams will lose to the Ravens. Then they'll play the Bears. The Bears will lose to the Ravens. So that's 3 back-to-back games at home. Texans, Rams, Bears that they will win. Next up, they're on the road against Miami. Could be a weird game. We don't really know, but I'm going to just pick them to beat Miami. Then they're going to be on the road against the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be one of their very few upsets that they're going to have this season. I'm going to pick the Vikings to win this game. They're on the road. They're going to be starting the season off pretty much with 1 loss. So they're going to be passed through a loss. I think it comes there in the middle of the season. After that, they are at the Browns. Same as the beginning of the season. The Browns are going to lose to the Ravens. Then they're going to be at home again for another streak of games. Jets to the Bengals to the Steelers. They will go win against the Jets, loss to the Bengals. The Bengals will get them at home. And then they will follow up with a win against the Steelers. Between the Bengals and the Steelers, I think that they might flip-flop. Maybe they beat the Bengals at home and lose to the Steelers, but it's the AFC. Also, division games are huge, so I would not be surprised if the Steelers do split with them because that's just the way the league goes. So going win, loss, win right there. Then they're going to be at the Bengals again. I had them winning on the road against the Bengals, so the Bengals get them at home. Then they get the Bengals in Cincinnati. After that, they go against the Patriots. This could be a good game if the Patriots pan out. They've been rebuilding. They have a team that could ruffle a lot of feathers. I'm going to pick them to still beat the Patriots at home. Then they're at the end of the season. By this point, they already have 12 wins. Yeah, 12 wins. So They have the Packers in Lambeau, and they have the Steelers at Pittsburgh. I think they close it out with the win-win, but they might already seal the first round bye with that win against the Packers. So if they win against the Packers, they're going to rest their starters for week 18, and they might catch the L against the Steelers. But I'm going to play it safe and pick them to close it out and win. So ultimately, their final record will be 14-3, which I think is very respectful for the Baltimore Ravens. Their only losses coming to Detroit in Baltimore, the Vikings on the road, and the Bengals in Baltimore. So I think they lose 2 at home, and the rest of the way through, I think that they win. So just be on the lookout for the Ravens to give one last surge this year and probably next year at a possible chance to play in the Super Bowl.
Man, that would be interesting if the Vikings could pull off that upset. But, as you were saying, stranger things happen throughout the NFL regular season. Sometimes a matchup that you might see 7 times over, the team is going to get that one win during that stretch, and that can definitely end up happening. And maybe I'm just I might just be sleeping on the Vikings a little much this year.
Just to kind of like, reiterate into further detail, when you have a team as good as the Ravens, just as an avid sports watcher, especially a football fan, you guys know that these upsets happen. They happen to every team. There's the one fucking team where it's like, okay, dude, like you had no business losing this game. So I'm like, what better game to, you start off super hot. You have one loss, and that's against Detroit, who's probably going to, win the NFC possibly. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done. Mm-hmm. So that's your own. You already go through the Bills. You already go through the Chiefs. You already go through, the Rams, and then you're on the road in Minnesota, which, Minnesota, they play pretty well at home. And think about it. Sam Darnold just got a starting job legitimately because of his performance last year. So it ain't like, oh shit, Minnesota took a huge step back. They're done. They're cooked. It's over. Like, no, like Justin Jefferson had a down year, which for him was still a spectacular year compared to average wide receivers. And they still got Jordan Addison, and they still got TJ Hawkinson. Like, they actually might still be just as solid as they've ever been. And they're at home and they're going against the Ravens. It's a possibility. So if they're going to lose a game to a team that they shouldn't lose to, it's probably going to be on the road against a team like the Vikings. So that's why I picked that loss.
I'm going to give you a stats over politics bomb right here. It's going to shake up the comment section. I've got the Minnesota Vikings penciled for 10 wins. I think a lot of people.
I like that.
A lot of people just are not buying the JJ McCarthy Michigan, hype, and I hate to see, what's going to happen when that kid gets in there and shows them what he's all about. So 10 wins for the Vikings. I write that down. I got that.
Okay, and context matters here on Stats Over Politics. I just have to mention, for those who may not know too much about Keith Joganatis, diehard Michigan fan, and so keep that in mind. Yeah, I mean, I'm an Ohio State fan, so my hate comes out. But
don't worry, we'll see you August 30th, buddy. Don't worry, we'll see what the Buckeyes are all about. I've heard a lot about the Ohio State Buckeyes the last 3 or 4 weeks, so. We'll be hearing a lot about the Ohio State Buckeyes in the next couple of weeks when they go to Texas. Yeah.
All right. Well, regardless of what happens August 30th, they are the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, at least until January. And so I'm going to revel in that. I'm going to enjoy it. And you better believe I'm going to mention it every single moment that I can.